Okay, good morning, everybody. September 21st, Board of Control meeting. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Good morning, everyone. It is now 11:01 a.m. Calling the roll for the Monday, September 21st Board of Control meeting. Dale Miller.
Here.
Nan Baker.
Here.
Trevor Macular, serving as an alternate for Dan Brady.
Here.
Mike Chambers, serving as an alternate for Armin Budish.
Here.
Lee Tucker, serving as an alternate for the fiscal officer.
Here.
Lenora Lockett. Here. We have a quorum.
Okay, very good. Review of the minutes from September 14th.
And one other person, Nicole English, serving as an alternate for Mike Dever. Here.
How could we forget you? Sorry. At this time, I'm going to make a motion to review the minutes on September 14th, unless anyone has anything to say on them. Hearing none, I will make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Oh, seconded by Lee Tucker. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the minutes are approved. Public comment? Do we have anyone from the public that wishes to speak? Hearing nobody, I'm going to move on to contracts and awards.
First new item, item number BC 2020-531, Department of Public Works, recommending an award on a purchase order and enter into a contract with Specialized Construction Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $199,704.50 for asphalt surface preservation, crack sealing, and striping of various pavements in connection with the fiscal year 2020 countywide preventative maintenance program.
Nicole English with Public Works. We're making an award to Specialized Construction. This is to do maintenance activities on county roads, and these are the ones that we have done project in the recent past. So this is the quote-unquote first fixes on us that we're doing. So this is different from the normal maintenance program where we pay the cities, because these are to protect projects that we've spent, probably millions of dollars on resurfacing. We are going with the second bid. There was 2 received. The lowest bid was deemed non-compliant, and so we're going with the second bid, which was approximately $4,000 more than the lowest bid.
Okay, thank you, Nicole. Are there any questions from the board on this item?
Yes, this is Dale, and my question is, what was the nature of the non-compliance?
So there was a couple items where they're supposed to provide a lump sum bid, specifically mobilization and project recording, and they bid 0 for that, so that's not allowed per our specs. So we're thinking that they didn't include mobilization, so their actual bid could have probably been higher if they would have submitted on all the items, the work types. So they missed an item.
Okay, any further questions from the board?
I have just one question. Nan Baker?
Sure.
Just so I understand, do these dollars go to the cities and the cities take care of these roads, or does the county come in and take care of the roads?
So this specific one is where we are going to hire the contractor and pay the contractor to do it directly. So we do 2 types. The one is the maintenance program where we solicit from the cities and then we do reimburse them for their work. And then we do a second, which is this contract, where we go out and look at projects that we've finished within the last 3 to 4 years. And so we're doing the first fix on us. So this is ensuring that on the projects where we spend, could be, millions of dollars on the resurfacing, that we make sure we do that first crack seal so that it lasts longer.
Okay, so you're out there first, and then the cities will come back and ask for additional dollars to keep maintaining it?
Correct.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, last chance. Any final questions? Hearing none, then I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Nan Baker.
This is Dale.
Councilwoman Baker, second to that. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, very good. Next item.
The next two items, item numbers BC 2020-532 and 533, will be presented collectively, and they can be approved concurrently. Department of Public Works, A, requesting approval to submit multiple non-environmental right of entry license applications to Norfolk Southern Corporation in connection with in-depth inspections of various bridges in the city of Cleveland. Bridge number 1 is Triscuit Road, bridge number 0134 over the Norfolk Southern Railroad and Greater Cleveland Regional Transit Authority tracks, and bridge number 2, Jefferson Avenue, bridge number 0057 over the Norfolk Southern Railroad, and B, recommending payments on multiple purchase orders in the total amount not to exceed $2,500 for application fees in connection with said bridge inspections.
English again with Public Works. These two items, like Andre said, are similar in the fact that they're both application fees to get on Norfolk Southern's property for us to do an in-depth bridge inspection just on two different bridges. We do in-depth inspections on bridges only every 5 years. Every year we are doing an inspection on the bridges. There's a nice video the county recently produced on bridge inspection. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's informative. But this is for the in-depth where they actually need to touch each part of the bridge in order to record its condition. So it makes we have to be able to get under the bridge and get onto Norfolk Southern's property. Norfolk Southern is one of the railroads that requires an upfront application fee for them even to look at our application, which is what this $12.50 for each bridge is. Once they issue us the agreement, it'll come back to the board for a signature.
Okay, thank you, Nicole. Are there any questions from the board on either of these two items? Hearing none, I will make a motion to approve both 532 and 533. Do I have a second?
Second, this is Dale.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, the items are approved. Next item.
Moving on to item number BC 2020-534, Department of Information Technology submitting an amendment to a contract with Infor Public Sector, Inc. for information technology services and solutions for the Enterprise Resource Planning System, and is for the period October 27, 2016 through October 26, 2021, to modify the scope of services by adding assessment of requirements, redesign, reconfiguration, development, and unit test and production cutover for Phase 2A payroll and Phase 2C workforce management implementation, and it's effective September 21st, 2020, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $123,750.
This is Jack Ryan for Department of IT and ERP Program Director. These are items that are required for our payroll WFM go live. They are items that configuration changes that we requested that resulted from testing that the team did that identified these additional requirements to make the systems compliant with our processes and procedures. This has been briefed. It's been in our ERP forecast for some time. In previous briefings to Council, the Budget and Finance Committee. It's also changes that we need to get approved so that we can move on with our additional testing and implementation at this time.
Okay, thank you, Jack. Are there any questions from the board on this item?
Yes, this is Dale, and I have one question, and my question is whether this item increases the projected cost for the implementation, or is this item already baked into the most recent estimate of the total implementation cost that we were provided?
Yes, sir. This is included in the last estimate that you were provided.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, any final questions from the board?
Yes, this is Nan Baker.
Sure.
Just a question, Jack. It would be helpful with all the moving parts of the ERP and the many extensions that we've had and all the conversations. If you could remind us when you say that this has been presented to the Budget and Finance Committee for several months, if you could show, perhaps when you ask for dollars like this, a reminder of exactly where these dollars were discussed and how it lines up with the overall budget, so that we don't have to ask questions like this. And I think it's because it's such an ongoing, changes, that it's hard to keep track of exactly where this 123,750 was talked about and whether it was implemented into the overall budget. So if you could do that, that would probably save some questions and make us feel better when we're acknowledging the approval.
Yes, ma'am, be happy to do that. And in this particular case, if you'd like, I can certainly provide back to you after this, a copy of the documentation of exactly where it is in the budget.
That would be helpful. And that's all I'm asking for, is just kind of a reinforcement of your explanation, just so we understand and can be accountable for it.
I'll be happy to do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, it's Trevor.
Yes.
I have one question.
Sure.
Jack, to Councilwoman Baker's point, how many more contract amendments are anticipated with N4 to complete phase 1?
Well, as we're still doing some testing, so there could be some results coming out of that wouldn't, I don't expect any of this magnitude, honestly. I'm not sure that I have an absolute answer to that, but we're pretty far down track on all of the configuration and changes. We're doing final testing. We could find some things as a result of that need to be changed, but we're certainly closer. I don't have an absolute answer to that because there isn't an absolute answer, but we're doing our best to minimize that unless something is absolutely required.
So in terms of stuff that's projected, are there any other projected contract amendments for N4 that are coming? So in 3 months from now, if Nan or Dell ask, was this budgeted or planned for, do we have any more with N4 right now?
I have potentially 2, and that would probably be covered. Right now, we were just discussing those this morning. That would probably be covered by available funds in the contract. So there probably will be $0 amounts that are also related to payroll implementation, based on a couple other things we found. So I don't expect that they would be additions to the overall budget. We do have some change orders that we can convert. That were not change orders. We do have some dollars remaining on some items that we're reconfiguring that may be freed up so that we don't have to do an increase in the overall budget to do the things we're required. So I have a couple that we're looking at this point.
How much available dollars are there right now with all the available either contingencies or money to be moved around? How much do you have available?
About $58,000 at this point.
For phase 1, obviously, right? I mean, that's
for phase 1.
Talking about.
Yes, phase 1.
Okay.
Correct. Yes, sir.
All right, so that's helpful to know for future items on N4. Thanks.
Sure.
Okay.
Dan Baker, I just want to thank you for the question, Trevor. That was really informative. I'm glad to know that what's available and what to look for in future potential acts. So thanks for that question.
All right. Moving on, then, I will make a motion to approve this item. Do I have a second?
Second, this is Dale.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Item number BC 2020-535, Court of Common Pleas, Juvenile Court Division, recommending an award on requisition 46263 and to enter into a master contract with various providers in the total amount not to exceed $300,000 for Juvenile Justice Best Practice in-home treatment program services for youth and their families for the period February 1st, 2020 through January 31st, 2022 for the following providers: Applewood Centers, Inc., Catholic Charities Corporation, and the Village Network.
Good morning, this is Sarah Baker with Juvenile Court. This is a master contract that we did issue an RFP for, and it is for our in-home treatment program service. So this is community-based treatment services with the youth and the families. It is covered 100% by our Reclaim grant. We have utilized both Applewood and Catholic Charities in the past for this program, but Village Network is new. So they have developed a program that they're trying to bring into Cuyahoga County and are willing to work with us on that endeavor. I know that there was some questions regarding this item that was sent over last week, and the court did send a response over regarding the late submittal, and why it is so late with the February 1st start. So we tried to put a timeline into that response that was sent over. We began this as soon as we could back in March when we had access to the system, and we continued to run into roadblocks in June and May, also in July, whether it was with ERP activity budgets, whether it was the court didn't have access to ERP yet, as we didn't get access until March. And then most recently, we were simply just waiting for approval for this item to go before the board. So as much as we have tried to avoid things like this occurring, it seems to be a continuous issue that we are experiencing.
Okay, are there any questions from the board on this item?
Yes, this is Dale. I have two questions. And the first question is, if you could tell us a little bit more about the Village Network because they're new. And the second question is, since you said that it says that you received 5 bids and 3 were recommended, are there 2 that submitted but were not recommended, and if so, who are they?
So with Village Network, they have provided community-based services in the past in other counties, but not in Cuyahoga. So they're trying to open an outpatient facility here in Cuyahoga to start doing more community-based treatment. Because right now we're only utilizing them for residential type treatment. We have a contract with them for residential and for safe space. But they're trying to open up more of that community-based door. So this is a way into that. And we did also receive 2 other proposals. One of them was for Belfair. We got one. And the proposal that they submitted was very confusing and unclear. And the model that the court was hoping that they would provide was not the one that they were going to give us. We were hoping for their evidence-based ICT model, and it was not clear that they were going to provide that for us. And then the other vendor that applied was Ohio Mentor, who we have contracted with in the past. However, we've had some issues with engagement with our families and communication with the court. In the community audits that have been done by our programming department, there was some issues with the data from the last contracts that we had with them, so we chose not to go with them as well.
And where's the Village Network headquartered?
I believe they're in Wooster, maybe? Pretty sure.
Okay, I have no other questions.
Any other questions from the board members?
This is Nan Baker.
Mr. Chair. Go ahead, Nan.
Go ahead, Nan.
Okay, thank you. Just curious about the timeline and I think you state 8 months here late. In the last 2 paragraphs, or 3, I should say, in your explanation, all 3 purchase orders were rejected in error, and you had to start all over again on June 18th, which is already, 4 or 5 months late, and that it took another 10 weeks, and in your closing, you are concerned that you could lose these grant dollars because you were unable to spend them for the past almost 8 months. That's history, but what do you look for in the future? Have you been able to, or are you able to overcome some of these issues so that you're not 8 months into the process and this ending? Well, it ends at 1/31/22, so at least you have another year. But
Yeah.
what are your thoughts of trying to make this process better?
So the court has taken on the initiative to reach out to OPD to schedule like bi-weekly calls, where we can work with them as a group and determine specific issues that we're having and use their guidance to help walk through those issues. And granted, when ERP first became available, everyone was kind of on a learning curve. So now that we've been using it for a while, that's improved. We've requested additional training. And whenever we are running into issues, we bring it to whoever may be able to help us. And that's all the things that are within our control. However, we are not able to control the other delays that occur on the other end.
Okay, so you can't improve after the 3 POs were rejected on 6/18. What happened after that? You're still not sure you have a better process?
We've worked with both Matt Ruby, who's the grants gentleman over there, as well as Jean Tellez to get those back through. And then they were able to get back into the system about a month later. And then they sat for 10 weeks waiting to be placed onto an agenda. Due to no fault of the court.
Okay, so 10 weeks, what agenda? The Board of Control agenda? What agenda?
Yes, they were waiting for OPD approval.
Okay, wow, that's a long, long process. And no dollars have been spent between now or between February 1st and now?
Both Applewood and Catholic Charities have been providing services. However, we have not been able to pay them. And Village Network has not started their program yet because it's new. They want to make sure that everything is good to go before they start bringing staff in. So they have not been able to begin yet.
So Applewood and Catholic Charities will be getting a sizable check and for the services that they've already given?
Yes.
Okay, good to know. Thank you for your answers. I appreciate it.
Yeah, this is Mike Chambers. There's a lot more involved, but we are working on both ends to make things better. So, Trevor, did you have a comment?
No, Mr. Chairman, I think between your comments and Councilwoman Baker's questions, we're kind of where I was going to go. Thank you.
Sure thing. Hearing no more comments, I'm going to make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second. This is Dale.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
This item is a two-part item. Item number BC 2020-536, Court of Common Pleas, Juvenile Court Division. A, submitting an RP exemption on requisition 2945, which will result in an award recommendation to Cleveland Rape Crisis Center in the amount not to exceed $7,950 for 7 on-site training sessions for court staff. And it's for the period July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021. And B, recommending the award in connection with said RFP exemption.
Sarah Baker with Juvenile Court. This is an exemption that we are putting through for training services that we will be getting through Cleveland Rape Crisis Center. They'll be providing training to our detention staff, probation staff, and our intervention staff. They're going to be working with us, talking about things such as burnout and compassion fatigue. They're going to be looking for supervision for effective outcomes. They're also going to be working with our staff regarding some of the child trafficking things that have been going on. With the current health crisis, all of these trainings will be held virtually. And this is also 100% covered by our Reclaim grant.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. Are there any questions from the board on this item? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second. This is Dale.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Item number BC 2020-537, Court of Common Pleas, Juvenile Court Division, recommending an award on a purchase order and enter into an agreement with City of Fairview Park in the amount not to exceed $1,816.96 for the Community Diversion Program. It's for the period March 1st, 2020 through December 31st, 2020.
Sarah Baker, Juvenile Court again. This is another one of our community diversion program agreements, just with the City of Fairview Park. And we did receive advanced questions on this item as well regarding how many of these are left. So there's this one that we're looking at today, and then there's one more that's also waiting for approval in the system. And then we will be done for 2020 until we start ramping up for 2021.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions from the board? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second, Nan Baker.
Seconded by Councilwoman Baker. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Item number BC 2020-538, Department of Health and Human Services, Community Initiatives Division, Office of Homeless Services, submitting an amendment to a contract with the Salvation Army for supportive services for homeless men in the PASS Transitional Housing Program. It's for the period July 1st, 2018 through June 30th, 2020, to extend the time period to December 31st, 2020. To modify the terms of Article 11 to address force majeure events and Article 8 to address professional errors and omissions liability insurance. This is effective on July 1st, 2020, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $116,227.
Ruth Gillette, Office of Homeless Services. This contract amendment supports a temporary housing program for single adult homeless men, focusing on recovery support and access to permanent housing, and also helping people develop sustainable income.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions from the board? Hearing none?
One question.
Yes.
If I may.
Sure.
Just reading over the effective date, July 1st, 2020, that means it begins July 1st, 2020? When does it, let's see here, I'm trying to make sense out of 6:30. So it'll end December 2020, okay, and then start at the beginning. Okay. All right, I think answered my question. Just the way it was written, it was a little hard to understand when it starts. The ending date remains the, let's see, to extend the time period to 12/31/2020, effective 7/1. Okay, I think I understand. Thank you. I'm sorry for the interruption.
No, not a problem. Any final comments from the board? Hearing none, then I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second, Nan Baker.
Seconded by Councilwoman Baker. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, item approved.
Thank you.
Next item, item BC 2020-539, Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Senior and Adult Services, submitting an amendment to a master contract with various providers for thermal and chemical bed bug inspection and extermination services. It's for the period January 1st, 2020 through December 31st, 2021, for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $36,457 for a contract with Speed Extermination Company, and B, a contract with Terminex International LP, doing business as Terminex Commercial.
Good morning, Paul Porter, Health and Human Services on behalf of the Division of Senior and Adult Services. Our extermination services for bed bugs are trending a little bit ahead of what we anticipated spending, about 10% higher than what we allocated for each year. So we're adding these funds, and because this is a 2-year agreement, we'll use what we need out of the additional funds during 2020, and anything left over will carry over into 2021, since it's already in there as a 2-year agreement.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Are there any questions from the board on this item? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second, this is Dale.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
We're moving on to the consent agenda, item numbers BC 2020-540 through 541. There were additional advanced questions for BC 2020-541, open market purchases. And if there's any questions, I'm sure the department will be able to respond for any additional questions.
So as usual, if anyone has a question, feel free from the board to speak out. Or if you need more clarification on any of the items. Okay, hearing none, then I'm going to make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second, this is Dale.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, item approved. Moving on.
We have no other business at this time. Is there any, is there any public comment?
Public comment going once, twice. Okay, no public comment. With that being said, then I will make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second, this is Dale.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor